What is up, everybody? NC.
JC and
We are back, and this time with the special on TWRP MISC, and this is called Divas Are Better Than Modern Female Wrestlers.
Facts.
It's so blatantly apparent to myself, to my brother, to everybody in our community, but to the online smarks, the IWC, they all have their favorites, and their favorites are way better than everything that we grew up with. So we're going to correct them on that and just let them know that no, divas are always going to be better. So I left out a few of the modern wrestlers that were actually good. You know, I left them out. So, you know, if you don't see any Tiffany Stratton or Toni Storm or anything like that, that's why. So, anyways, start out alphabetically. We got Asuka first. People say Asuka's so great. Let's face it. Luna Vachon is way better.
yeah, better on the mic, more of a personality.
Yeah, and the reason why I say this is better on the mic, better personality, more memorable. Like, don't get me wrong, Asuka has had, I guess, some memorable matches. But besides that, out of the ring, what is she really known for? Just spitting mist in people's face and doing goofy shit on commentary.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just the way she's being utilized by creative. But honestly, I would say that if you're talking about who's had the bigger impact on wrestling, it's Luna Vachon, hands down. Hands down.
Easily. And not only that, but she's transitioned from being a good heel wrestler and daughter of a famous wrestler into a manager personality role. And not many wrestlers can do that. So that tells you just the personality and character that she has. So let's go ahead and move on to Bayley. Mickie James kills her ass with
At
ease.
at 44, how old is Mickie James right now? Like,
She could be she could be 55 and she still look younger than Bayley right there.
She's 45. She's 45 and she's hotter and prettier than Bayley. How fucking sad is that?
And younger looking.
Okay,
younger looking.
so for let's just put looks aside. Let's talk about the talent of the two. Is Mickie James a better promo than Bayley?
Oh yeah.
Is she better in the ring?
Oh yeah.
Is she more of a star?
Oh yeah.
Okay, there you go. There you fucking go.
Hey, she got the John Cena stamp of approval, okay? You don't need anything more than that. Bayley never got that. She'd be lucky to get that. But yeah, this is Bayley, to me, is one of the biggest disappointments within the last decade, maybe 2 decades of women's wrestling. Because here's a woman that was only really good, I shouldn't even say good, bearable in NXT Black and Gold under Dusty's tutelage. That was the only time she ever made sense as that plucky underdog babyface. She wasn't being pushed as this dominant babyface or heel, whatever they want to shift her as nowadays. She was like, okay, you maybe could buy her being a mid-carder, but never the world champion, you know? But nowadays, look at her. Overrated, overpushed, down your fucking throat. One of the ugliest women in pro wrestling.
In your opinion, who's more overrated, Bayley or Becky Lynch?
Oh, you know what? We're going to have to go right to that because, I don't know. That's a good one right there. But
I'd say Bayley.
That's, you know what? I never thought I would hear that coming out of JC's mouth, but it doesn't sound too bad now that you say it. But speaking of, we got to do the great comparison because they always want to say, oh, the redheads. No. Lita is a mega star. Look at how hot she looks there. Lita's a fucking mega star compared to this Muppet-looking goofball wearing her goofball Versace glasses. She looks like dog shit. Look at the stupid little goats on her shoulder. Like, this is the thing. What needs to be understood here is Lita was in segments that got 8 million, 9 million views. Like, just that match, that mixed tag match that she had, got like almost 9 million views. And then the bedroom scene with Edge, over 5 million for that. So this woman is a part of history. Everybody knows who Lita is. You literally can go on Google, search Lita, nobody else comes up.
Right.
At the top, it's all that chick, right? You could search like Becky Lynch and you probably find imposters and shit. But Becky Lynch is like, she's such a non-draw compared to this woman, and yet she expects the world. Lita was humble. At least Lita was a whore, but at least she was humble. A humble whore. You gotta respect
let's look at Lita. Okay, so just even in the ring, who's more exciting? Lita doing that fucking swanton or Becky? Like, what exciting things does Becky do in the ring other than, really nothing? I can't even give her the manhandle slam looks like shit. The fucking disarm her looks like garbage. It's a fucking cheap knockoff of what Ronda Rousey does. There's nothing that she does that looks good in the ring. At least Lita is way more exciting as a wrestler.
you asked what move she does really, really good, that moonsault. And that helps, when you're trained by actual dude wrestlers and you're trained like a dude, you're going to wrestle like a dude. And that's why Lita was at least believable when they did that intergender shit. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's still unbelievable, goofy shit. But when she got in there, you're like, oh, at least she knows how to do the moves and not make it look like shit. So there was that.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and talk about Bianca Belair. They say she's so great. I don't know. I think Jacqueline's better. I think Jacqueline's better. And the reason why I think Jacqueline's better, intense promo. She had a lot of strength for how short she was. Like, that's the thing is, like, Bianca, don't get me wrong, she's a very strong woman. Jackie, you wouldn't look at her and think she's such a powerhouse. This woman could fucking bench press just about anybody on the roster.
Absolutely.
Great chacos, as Vince McMahon has adored in the past. She's a character personality, former women's champion. This one would be a close one for most people. I think Jackie takes it.
I think Jackie takes it too. Just Jackie was more of a star in my opinion. I mean, you had more people watching Jackie. Now, again, that was a time of the period. That was due to the time period, the Attitude Era. But still, I think that Bianca Belair in the Attitude Era would not have been as over as Jackie. That's just my opinion.
Well, Jackie was badass, and that's the thing about Jackie is she wasn't afraid to get down to her skeevies, man. She'd show off her tits, show off anything, man. Anything she literally went topless one time, had that wardrobe malfunction on TV. Bianca Belair, I don't see her going to that full extent. She'd probably be like, I don't feel like I should have to do that. So I think already when it comes to who's the cooler chick, you gotta go with Jackie. Bianca's got the snowflake edge. The reason why I deducted Bianca here big time is because she started the crying culture backstage. All these wrestlers gotta fucking cry now. After she won the title, every fucking wrestler, no matter if it's a speed title, you gotta cry. You gotta cry holding that fake little piece of gold for the 1 week or 2 weeks that you got it. So I don't know.
I just feel like Bianca Belair to me is just massively overrated. I mean, is she? I'll give her this. She's more talented than Becky Lynch and Bayley. I'll give her that. Is she as good as Jacqueline in my opinion? No. Now again, this is all our opinion. If you want to fucking get outraged, oh my God, how dare you? That's your opinion, and this is our opinion.
They're not facts. All we do is present our opinion with facts. Big difference.
Right.
So let's go ahead and go on to the next one. We got Ugly Emma and the way better Emma right over here. We've always said that Britt Baker was Ugly Emma, and like at one time when she was the role model, showed a brief glimmer of hope, but she just went on a full-on Jack Daniels bender, and just her brain is floating in Jack Daniels right now. There's nothing. It's like a little pea floating in a sea of Jack Daniels. And Emma here, meanwhile, is scraping for fucking used up, chewed up hot dogs on the indies when she deserves a shot in the WWE. Emma, in my opinion, has always been a very underrated talent. Well, some could say maybe Britt might be a better promo. At one time she has just fucked her brain up so bad, I would put Emma over her in the mic category. As far as looks go, Emma's way better. As far as wrestling ability goes, Emma's way cleaner. Right. Just, she's got her shit down. Very underrated.
I mean, now granted, is Britt Baker the worst looking chick that we've seen so far? No. But is she overrated? Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and even the wrestling marks who are like, oh my God, respect them for their in-ring talent. Okay, who's more talented in the ring, Britt Baker or Emma?
Emma, easily.
Yeah.
Emma's clean. She doesn't go out and do botchy, stupid shit. Like, even when we were at that SmackDown show and she was wrestling Paige and we were yelling out all sorts of just, provocative stuff towards her, she took it with stride. Kept on wrestling. Her and Paige were giggling, but at least they wrestled clean, did not fuck up. So I got to give a lot of respect to that.
Well, I would even say that, okay, what about, people who say, well, you took points away from Bianca Belair because she's a whiny snowflake. What about, Emma? Well, yeah, true, but so too is Britt Baker. So it negates each other. It cancels each other out.
Yeah, they got that canceling right there. So let's go ahead and go on to the next one. We got the Battle of the Candices. Candice LeRae versus Candice Michelle. This is such a squash match. Yeah. To the nerds, they think that Candice LeRae is better than Brock Lesnar. No. Candice Michelle is legitimate talent. Great wrestling ability. Great look. Funny girl. Like, I saw her stand up. She's a legitimately hilarious girl. She's got great personality to her. Has been a long-lasting character. Like, you remember Candice as one of the Divas automatically. Candice LeRae is not going to be remembered 10 years from now. I hate to say it to these nerds.
Well, I mean, just the fact that we're still mentioning Candice Michelle. Candice LeRae is not, like what you said, she's probably not going to be mentioned because she's not doing anything memorable. She's just a chick that's there on the roster in the fucking background. Whereas Candice Michelle was actually, a memorable act on the show.
Absolutely, and she's just still has the talent, and that's the thing. I just want to make this clear about Divas. It goes anywhere back from the Attitude Era when they, were first called Divas, all the way to the Divas Championship to when it ceased to exist. So anybody competing during that time period, doesn't matter if you're a manager, wrestler, whatever, you're a diva. So
I think it's totally fair. So even if the smarks are like, oh my god, but look at Candice LeRae's wrestling ability. Well, I look at it like this: which one is more entertaining? Which one was more entertaining when they were on Raw or SmackDown? Candice Michelle or Candice LeRae? And I'm talking like on the mic, I'm talking in segments, who was more entertaining? It's Candice Michelle by a mile.
Easily. And that's the thing, too, is that she's the type of woman, she still has charisma to this day. They could hire her back and she would be an asset to Raw or SmackDown. While Candice LeRae, you could leave her off Raw, I wouldn't notice. I really would not fucking notice because she's that unmemorable. Ever since she separated from the Way, she has not mattered at all.
Yeah. She's just a normal chick that learned how to wrestle. Like, you pick any chick, you walk into a Starbucks, you pick any random chick barista, you say, hey, you want to be a wrestler? Hey, I'm going to teach you how to wrestle. In about 5 years, they'd be Candice Michelle. Or sorry, they'd be Candice LeRae. My bad.
Pretty much, just with some purple hair dye, Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing about Candice LeRae is I'll never discount the fact that she learned how to wrestle properly, at least for the indies. She has bad psychology, but at least she can wrestle the dudes because she grew up doing that in PWG. I get it. At the same time, when it comes to draws, Candice Michelle dwarfs her in drawing ability, squashes her, makes her look like a punk bitch in so many ways.
Big time.
So on to the next. Chelsea Green versus Tori Wilson. Another brutal squash match. Well, that's the thing is we had such a good lick. Like, we had a good lick of the pick of the litter. That
lick, yeah.
Good, yeah. To see where my mind is going. We had a good pick of the litter back in the day. That it was a situation where even a mid-carder could crush a champion nowadays, such as the case with Tori and Chelsea right here.
I know, dude. Like, just look at them. Just in the looks department, who's prettier? Who's got the better looking body? It's Tori Wilson by a fucking mile.
Easily. Well, that's the thing. Tori was a phenomenon. When she came out back in the day, people knew who she was, especially after she got in that swimsuit calendar. After the swimsuit calendar, people were Tori fans for life, man. And she was one of the four pillars, I'd have to say. Like her, Tori, Trish. Who else would you say? Stacy?
Yeah. Stacy, yeah.
One more.
Yeah.
One more. Who would be the other one?
Well, I mean, did you say Trish?
Lita.
Already?
I forgot Lita.
Yeah.
So boom, there you go. But yeah, one of the four pillars, just star power from head to toe. Cut a good innocent babyface promo. While Chelsea may be, I guess, the better promo nowadays, she can't even equate to the wrestling ability or star power that Tori Wilson has.
No, and so just looking at wrestling ability, Tori Wilson's better than Chelsea Green, in my opinion.
Yeah. And you wouldn't be wrong, because Tori Wilson was a very safe wrestler. She didn't hurt people. And another great thing about Tori, she wasn't a psychopath online that wished death upon racist bullies like Tessa Blanchard.
Still isn't. I mean, and maybe Tessa Blanchard was right to kind of, chastise Chelsea Green a little bit for her wrestling ability. Maybe she was right to chastise her, because we've seen what we got now. She sucks.
We got some real garbage nowadays, is what we deal with, but let's go on to the next. Speaking of real garbage, Charlotte Flair and Trish Stratus.
Oh my God.
Look at, dude, if you ever wanted a picture of what Dolph looks like when he's sloppy on a makeup day, left-hand side. Holy shit, that is Charlotte's worst makeup day ever. But hey,
and there are people who jerk off to that. There are people that literally pull out their little fucking tiny peenies and then they fucking stroke it to that fucking man in a wig. Like, what are they seeing in Charlotte? Even as a wrestler, she's sloppy and botchy. We have videos, multiple videos of like her botching horribly. Her promos are awful. She's got no personality, no charisma. The only thing she has is an entrance. Outside of that, she's just tall, ugly chick.
Well, she's so botchy. She's so botchy and sloppy. That's the thing. For being a 14-time world champion, she's such a sloppy, botchy chick. Don't get me wrong. She's She's a conservative leading chick, but she whines
Sure.
like a snowflake. Like there's too much whining coming for her on social media. She's doubling down in the gym, like we showed you that picture a couple news ago. She's getting a nice monster rip back. You know, she's trying to compete with Jordan Grace and Rhea Ripley there. While Trish Stratus, she's a former bodybuilder and still remains feminine to this day. Still remains like a very hot woman to this day. Still is a great wrestler to this day. I would rather have Trish Stratus make a grand comeback than Charlotte. They have all these promos for Charlotte on SmackDown coming back. Her, you know, dicking around on the yacht. No, I want to see Trish come back. That's the comeback that people want to see.
I'll tell you this, at the very least, so if some smart is tuning in and say, oh, what about the wrestling? Trish Stratus botches less than Charlotte does. And you know it's true.
Yep. And way more culturally impactful, too. People are going to remember Trish's segments from Raw. Even the embarrassing ones where she's, you know, led around on a chain by Vince. Even those ones. But still to this day, she is more memorable than anything Charlotte has ever done in her career.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. Because Charlotte is just... Honestly, I'm not going to say the most overrated, but definitely she's definitely up there. She's got to be. All
of the four horse-faced women, which we have on here, by the way, are the most overrated women. And this is why we harp on Triple H so much, because he made a culture of overrated, just worthless mid-card jobbers that should not be in the main event. And they're being shoved down your throats and put into positions where they're multi-millionaire, multi-time world champions. It's fucking stupid. Somebody has to call them out, but, you know. On to the next. Let's go ahead and talk about a very, very overrated talent nowadays. Dakota Kai. I think Molly Holly just destroys her in every single department. When you talk about an underrated, plucky babyface, Molly Holly. When you talk about somebody who was a good wrestler, never fucked up at all, had the work rate, Molly Holly. Somebody who was cool backstage, Molly Holly. Never did drugs, none of that shit. Actually cool chick. Former world champion. Unlike Dakota Kai, never been a world champion, never been a draw. Molly Holly has been a draw no matter what she does. It doesn't matter if she's playing superhero with Hurricane or competing in a women's title match. It doesn't matter. She's a fucking draw. People know who Molly Holly is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but the smarts would say, yeah, but NXT Black and Gold and Banger Test and Takeover and the Pele kick. That's an awesome Pele kick. Everything else is fucking boring about her, and even that is massively overrated. When you compare her to the wrestling ability of Molly Holly clears that easily. Promos, clears it easily. Does she look better? Yes. Is she more charismatic? Yes. Is she more of a star? Yes. Has she been in more memorable segments? Absolutely. Dakota Kai, like with 90% of the Triple H built roster, is massively overhyped mid-card garbage. And you know it's true.
Well, and here's the thing about Molly Holly is she's always been a very underrated beauty. I mean, she has curves, you know, she has sex appeal. Dakota Kai is literally a cosplaying anime weasel. No tits, no ass, no service. What is this? And guys jack off to her constantly. They're like, look how beautiful she is, guys. She's a goddess. No. Just because she likes video games and anime doesn't mean that she'll fuck you. You need to get that through your head. But they can't, man.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I've never gotten the appeal of Dakota Kai. I've never seen it. Even the wrestling ability is bland as fuck. Even Becky is better in the ring than Dakota Kai. And Becky is fucking sloppy, botchy, plays it way too fucking safe, and it looks horrible. But with Dakota Kai, I've never seen what the smarts see. I don't get it other than internet hype.
Well, at the very least with Becky Lynch, her over-the-top goofball antics, or at least we're talking about making fun of. Yeah, you can make fun of it. With Dakota Kai, she's just so inherently Indian boring. What are you going to talk about? The new hair color that she has this week? It's like, what the fuck are you going to talk about with this chick? You know, she's just a random indie wrestler with a horrible hair color scheme going on. I don't know what the fuck she's thinking going with that. Focus on a gimmick, Dakota Kai, rather than fucking different hair colors. Do something. But somebody else who's overrated, teamed with her before, is Io Sky versus AJ Lee. So I cannot fucking stand the overrating that goes through these nerds' head when it comes to Io Sky. Their love for Japanese wrestlers, it knows no bounds. And especially if they have a vagina and they're in WWE, These fools have like fucking Io Sky shrines in their house that they jack off to. AJ Lee, she was a very competent wrestler back in the day during the Divas era. One of the better ones that they had.
She had a memorable finisher too, like the spider thing, whatever it was. How she, like I still remember to this day, like it's been years and years. Whereas Dakota Kai, there's something original about her.
Or
what did she do? Io Sky, my bad.
Yeah.
Who did I just say?
You said Dakota Kai. They're both interchangeable, multi-hair color jobbers, so it doesn't matter.
So I mean, like, what memorable move does Io Shirai do? What does she do that's memorable? At least with AJ Lee.
But she does a moonsault. Not like anybody else in the fucking industry does that.
Right, and that's the thing is that like with Io Sky, she needs to be more original. She's got to like have just an original like. When you see her do that finisher, or if you see anybody else do it, you immediately say, "Oh, well, that's Io Sky." She doesn't have that. And then when you look at the promo, I mean, look, we shit on AJ Lee, and rightly so. But AJ Lee is honestly, if she were to go back to WWE, she'd be one of the best promos in the company. That's how fucking sad it is right now.
She wasn't bad back in the day. Yeah, sure, she's got a body like a 12-year-old, but at the same time, I think that she was a better convincing character on the microphone, had cooler looking moves, cleaner wrestler. I think really she just gave in to Punk, and just Punk was like, "You're gonna stay at home and be my house bitch," and she was like, "Okay, fine," decided to do that. But I think if she came back, she could easily outclass Io Sky. So
on the mic, in the ring, everything, yeah, and charisma wise too. It's
bigger
honestly,
draw too.
Yeah, bigger draw. I mean, if AJ were to come back, how much attention is that going to get? Like, if AJ Lee is in a match at WrestleMania, how many more people are going to give a shit about that compared to a match that Io Sky is in? I got to put it out there. Like, I'm not trying to shit on the Asian wrestlers just for the fun of it. I'm pointing out that, I mean, look at what we got. What we're trying to say with this is, look at what we had back then compared to what we have now. And you wonder why people wonder why we're so negative on the current roster. This is why, because in almost every regard, it's a step down.
Hell, I'd take fucking Brie Bella over Io Sky nowadays.
I mean, look, Brie Bella is at least a name.
Yeah.
Is she very talented? No, but
she had the Bremo shirts. Give her that.
Yeah.
So the next comparison is Jamie Hayter versus Victoria.
Oh boy.
Jamie Hayter needs to humble herself to Victoria's greatness. Victoria was a woman who had great wrestling moves, had a great skill set to her, fast, hard hitting. Mm-hmm. Made her moves look good psychology, decent promo. I think she just obliterates Jamie Hayter in every single aspect.
No, I agree with that. I think she does too. I think that if you compare the two objectively, if you're just being fair, not you're taking a side and saying, "Oh, I'm going to shit on Jamie Hayter because she's AEW or because she's one of the smart darlings," but if you just look at it fair and objectively, you would say that, okay, Victoria's prettier. Victoria's better in the ring. She's better on the mic. She's more charismatic. She's much more of a star. She's much more memorable. I mean, Jamie Hayter, I don't think anyone's going to remember her, but we're still remembering and still talking about Victoria today.
And Victoria's a smart woman too. When she got out,
right.
she got her own pizza restaurant going. She got her own side business. A smart woman. Isn't she under the Legends contract too?
I think she is right now. But I also got to add in this. Victoria has gotten herself over in 2 companies. Jamie Hayter hasn't even got herself over in 1 company.
Yeah, sad to say.
Yeah.
Hard times, baby, hard times.
Hot time, baby.
Up next is one of JC's favorite female wrestlers, Jordynne Grace versus Nicole Bass.
Oh, God.
Fight me! Come on!
Honestly, at least it's memorable, and at least Nicole Bass looks more intimidating. Like if Jordynne Grace wants to get in a fucking fist fight with me, I'd be like, I kind of laugh it off. If Nicole Bass did, I'd be like, oh, I don't know.
Nicole Bass she's a big woman. Like, I want to say it has to be over 6'2". Like, Jordynne Grace is what, 5'2"? I mean, you see Nicole Bass in a dark alley, and you're gonna be like, shit, where's my knife? Where's my gun?
She was billed at 6'2", 243 pounds. That's a big fucking bitch right there. Damn.
Yeah. I like when Psycho said we lose.
There are no winners.
There are no winners here. I'm just trying to say, though, legit though, Nicole Bass actually strikes fear into the hearts of men. That's the problem. Is Jordynne Grace strikes limp dick into the dicks of many men. So yeah, it's said that this is what we have nowadays. I will see Nicole, bigger star, was on Howard Stern's Private Parts, regular on Howard Stern.
Yeah. I mean, they're both hermaphrodite monsters. So,
you get what you get. On to the next one. We got Joshi Surprise, Kari Sane versus Ivory. Ivory is just so much better. Got over in different stables. Wasn't she in TNA too?
Oh yeah, she was
got
everywhere.
Got over in multiple different companies. Started in women's wrestling, got signed to WWF. Headed on over to TNA. This woman has been a superstar, a former world champion, a noticeable name nowadays, and always a clean, solid wrestler. Had impactful moves, looked great on TV.
Just even as like a manager in the fucking Right to Censor, like she's memorable. We're still, like 20 plus years later, we're still talking about her.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Glow, not WoW, my bad.
I
get those two confused. But Kari here is just another stardom marigold bitch. Hasn't amounted to much in WWE. She's just there for jack-off material, basically, for all the guys who just want to see their stardom porn. So there you go.
Well, I mean, like, you look just even like on the mic, in the just in every regard, Ivory. In every regard. Like, name one thing that Io Sky is better at than Ivory. Like, name one thing that she's better at than Ivory. In the ring, no. On the mic, no. Personality-wise, no. Charisma-wise, no. Looks-wise, in my opinion, no. So, it's like, this, for me, Ivory clears Kari Sane entirely. Did I say Io Sky? I'm still in the fucking mindset, but...
Interchangeable.
Honestly, they kind of are. I mean, if we're being fair. Like, again, I'm not trying to just shit on them for nothing. I'm just saying, if we're being fair, they are kind of interchangeable a little bit, you know? I mean,
only difference is one has a Raggedy Ann elbow drop.
Right. Well, I mean, at the very least, you know, when Kari Sane was in NXT, at least she had the pirate gimmick. At least there was something unique about her. There's nothing there. Yeah.
Piece of garbage.
I mean, I'll give her this. She's prettier than Io. I'll give her that.
Yeah, a little bit. Somebody else who's quite garbage is Chris Statlander gets destroyed by Beth Phoenix. Like, they want to say that this Chris Statlander bitch is an Amazon up against Beth Phoenix, who's legitimately a strong woman. Beth could probably Brock Lesnar her all around the ring. It would look like Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. That's what it would look like, just 16 suplexes to the head. Like, Beth is legitimately better looking, stronger, better wrestler, had more accolades. Am I missing anything?
No, I mean you're spot on. I mean, again, we're still talking about her. Like, Beth Phoenix is a star. Is she the most attractive woman out of the divas? No, but she is a star undoubtedly. She looks like more of a star, presents herself like more of a star. It's definitely better on the mic. I've heard Chris Statlander promos, and I've heard Beth Phoenix promos. Oh boy, difference there.
Dude, I would take Beth on the microphone during commentary from NXT over Chris Statlander promo. It was that fucking bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, it's just name, if we're being fair, name one thing that Chris Statlander is better at than Beth Phoenix. In the ring, no. On the mic, no. More charismatic? Does she have more of a character? Chris Statlander is, like, her gimmick is that she's Chris Statlander and she wears a goofy headband. There's no gimmick there. At least Beth Phoenix had the fucking Glamazon gimmick. There's something there. There's nothing there with Chris Statlander. And again, if we're being fair, if we're being absolutely fair.
We are trying to be fair, but even you can see from here, the Chris Statlander's trying to do some like weak, cheap cosplay of Beth Phoenix with her stupid outfit.
Yeah, like, Chris Statlander is an indie wrestler. Beth Phoenix is a superstar. Like, that's honestly what we're looking at right here.
True. Well, here's one's gonna piss off some modern day fans.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry. Stacy Keibler destroys Maxine Dupree.
Oh my god.
Fuck off if you got a fucking problem with that. Stacy Keibler got fucked by George Clooney, okay? Maxine Dupree is gonna be a fucking curtain jerker with Akira Tozawa for the rest of her career. I hate to say it.
I mean, she had legs and she knows how to use them. So, you know.
Yes.
With Stacy Keibler, I mean, more memorable segments, much more compelling, in my opinion, more attractive, prettier in my opinion. Got way more over. Got way more over than Maxine Dupree ever did. So, you know, I just look at it in every regard, honestly, other than promos, because Maxine even the smartest of me would agree that Maxine is garbage in the ring. I mean,
Yeah.
and Stacey Keebler was nothing special either, and neither were special on the microphone. But if you had to look at like who got more over, who looks more like whoa, it's Stacey. It's Stacey all fucking day long.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Up next is another blot, in my opinion. Alicia Fox destroys Mercedes Moné. I don't want to hear this shit. Alicia Fox is underrated on the mic. Her coming out, tossed off of vodka, beats every single Monet promo in the history. Like, it don't matter if it's Monet, Sasha Banks, NXT, WWE, AEW, don't matter where she is, New Japan, whatever. It beats every single promo. Like, Alicia Fox, somebody needs to hire this woman. Why have they not hired her? Why have they not brought her back to wrestling?
I don't know.
They chased her away.
They probably did, because they were like, oh, well, she didn't wrestle in black and gold NXT. She didn't have bangers on the indie circuit. Therefore, she's no good. Well, I'm like, no, but she's, charismatic and, is really good on the microphone and underrated in the ring. So, I mean, when you look and she doesn't have the ego that Sasha Banks does. Let's be totally fair about that. So she's probably going to be easier to work with in the locker room. So, and even then with the wrestling, if we're being fair about Sasha, she's massively overrated. But we call her Botcha Banks for a reason, because we've seen her do multiple botches. She's massively overrated.
Yeah, well, not only that, but she's proved over time that just, if anything, her promo skills have degraded. I thought Alicia was getting better before she was unseated by WWE. It's a situation where, it's just, you look at all the things that go against Mercedes, and it's too many things. With Alicia, like, she was a humble worker, just came to just show up and do whatever part was asked for. Never was a bitch backstage, never got into a fight with Vince McMahon. Literally did whatever he wanted out of her. Real team player, while Sasha Banks was in the fucking bathroom stall crying and throwing fits and calling Vince McMahon a cracker. Big difference.
Well, I mean, just even if we say, okay, let's give the argument that Sasha's better in the ring than Alicia. Let's give that argument. Does she look like more of a star than Alicia? No. Is she better on the mic than Alicia? No. Is she more charismatic? No. So again, like in every other regard, even if I'm giving Sasha more credit than she deserves, quite frankly, Alicia's still better. And you look at Sasha Banks right now, she's being featured heavily on AEW, and they're drawing flies. They ain't drawing shit right now. They're getting their asses kicked by NXT, the developmental of WWE. Like, that's how bad it is. And that's how massively overhyped Sasha Banks is. She's always been overhyped. She's never been the superstar that fans have made her out to be. She's not.
Well, and people are figuring that out over in AEW, that without the WWE vehicle, you're fucked. You need that vehicle to be a star nowadays. She's figuring that out firsthand. And somebody who figured that out when they went to TNA for a minute was Naomi. Kelly kicks her ass.
Oh,
Kelly
my God.
It did that dancer gimmick way before she did. Had way more eyeballs on her. Had the attention of the whole locker room, mind you. This woman was a top star that never really got the chance to shine, in my opinion. Just really bigger than wrestling in a lot of ways. Naomi is, like I said, she went over to Impact. Nobody cared. Did her time over there, came back to WWE. There's even nerds that are claiming that, because of Naomi, we wouldn't know who TNA is. We knew who. God. No, we knew what TNA was a while back. Okay,
what they're saying.
Kelly. She's the type of woman, though. If she was really in the mainstream nowadays in WWE, she still looks as hot. She would be a top star.
Of course,
Naomi still a fucking mid-carder.
Well, I mean, and for the people saying that, Naomi's the reason why TNA got the partnership with WWE, that was the two corporations making a deal with one another. That Naomi had nothing to fucking do with it. I'm like, okay, so there's that. In the ring, honestly, I'll give the edge to Naomi. Okay, sure. Is she as hot as Kelly? No fucking way. Is Kelly better on the mic? In my opinion, yes. Easily. Is Kelly more of a star? Yeah. Is Kelly more talked about? Yes. In her heyday, yeah, absolutely. So there's no doubt in my mind that Kelly is going to be better than Naomi. I mean, honestly,
she's not an SJW either. No. When Naomi walked out of the company with Sasha Banks, she thought she was going to get signed to AEW. They didn't sign her, so she was forced to go to Impact. She had to take basically the beggar's offer just to get a fucking job. That tells you that she's not in high priority under anybody but Triple H. I don't know why he hired her back. Maybe just to make her husband happy. But it's just like, Kelly she's top level. And people are saying, Naomi's technically, she comes from the Diva era. She wrestles modern day, though. So she counts as a modern day female wrestler. That's why we got to do the comparison. So let's go ahead and go on to Nia Jax and Karma. Karma just... Karma to me was Awesome Kong was a badass. Like she was like when she got in the ring, you knew somebody was gonna get fucking steamrolled. With Nia, you know somebody's just gonna get sloppily botched and thrown around. A lot of slow lady movement, then a big butt flop on their chest after 5 minutes. It's nothing really to get excited about. With Karma, she went in to fuck chicks up, and she was over in multiple companies too. So there's that. So and a better promo. So Karma.
Well, and Karma too, like, also came across as more intimidating. Like, both are big chicks, but I think that one is more imposing and intimidating than the other. I think Nia Jax just comes across as just way too silly and goofy to be taken seriously when she's a woman at that size. Like, when you're that big, you got to be the big, imposing, scary chick in the division, like what Karma was, like what Awesome Kong was, and like I feel like Awesome Kong made more of a name for herself than Nia Jax did. But honestly, if I'm being fair, I can't shit too much on Nia Jax. But I have to admit that Karma was better. So.
Yeah, they're both. I would say that Karma does a better job. Nia is not bad for nowadays, but definitely I'm going to pick Karma. Up next is another very easy comparison. This one is hard for the IWC because they love her so much. China just drops an atom bomb on Rhea's head and she can't recover. Let's not gloss past the facts that China was a huge celebrity, eighth wonder of the world. She was all over magazines. She was all over TV. Known by everybody during the Attitude Era, which is very difficult. Became the Intercontinental Champion and was actually, like, I could buy her beating up Jeff Jarrett. I didn't want to see that intergender shit, but she beat up Jeff Jarrett. I'm like, who cares? It's fucking Jeff Jarrett, So, just went through the necessary steps to make herself look more feminine. While with Rhea Ripley, it seems like she's gone in the reverse and has done extra steps to make herself look more manly for these muscle mommy weirdos. I feel like when it comes to household draw, wrestling ability, looking more imposing, actual strength, Chyna's got it.
Well, I just feel like Rhea's a cheap imitation of what Chyna was. That's how she comes across to a lot of people, and to myself included. So I just feel that look at the mic skills. I mean, honestly, they're about the same. Chyna's probably a little bit better. In the ring, I feel like Rhea Ripley's massively overrated. Even if I give her credit there, she's nowhere near the star that Chyna was. She will not be remembered like Chyna was. No fucking way.
No, not at all. And that's something that she just has to live with. They can call her the next Chyna, say that she's better than Chyna. No, not even close. Lisa made a good point here. Triple H is guilty about Chyna, so he pushes Rhea. Yeah. That's what it almost feels like. I think it's that and the fact that she's a black and gold darling. You combine those two and you have every reason in the world for him to push her to the moon and make her one of those people that just is, she's almost like the Four Horsewoman. She's going to get shoved down your throat until you want to throw her up, and then he's going to shove it right back down. So,
well, I would just ask anybody in 20 years from now, who's going to be more remembered, Chyna or Rhea Ripley?
Chyna still is remembered. Chyna's still a huge star. Chyna's still talked about to this day. Somebody who's not going to be talked about 10 years from now is Zoe Starks. I'm sorry. God. Nikki Bella just absolutely dwarfs, eclipses, just Black Hole Suns this just ugly man in drag. I'm sorry. Just no comparison at all. And mic skills and wrestling ability and sex appeal, name worth. Literally everything that goes into being a woman's wrestler, Nikki Bella just clears Zoe Starks. Like, I don't understand why Zoe Starks is still even in WWE. If Vince McMahon was still in power, this bitch would have been fired 2 years ago. And she would be lucky to be a TNA jobber, like maybe getting beat by Masha Slamovich. Maybe.
I mean, let's take a fair look at just on the screen. Look at what we're looking at here. Which one of these chicks is more attractive? It's Nikki Bella, clearly. Which is better in the ring? Nikki Bella, like, if you remember, Nikki Bella in the ring, pretty fucking good. I would say Nikki Bella was better. Who's more of a star? Nikki Bella. Who's better on the mic? Nikki Bella. Who's got more charisma? Nikki Bella. And who's been able to get over even outside of WWE? Nikki Bella. Like, this is as clear of a choice as, honestly, that we've seen so far. I mean, maybe it might be number 2 or number 3, but it's definitely up there in the top 3.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing, too, is you got to keep in mind, like you were saying, outside. I mean, look at Dancing with the Stars. Look at the fact that the show Total Divas and even Total Bellas Total Divas was started because of the Bella Twins, was centered around them, and then they even got their own spinoff based on them. So that tells you right there, this woman is known amongst like ladies who have never given a shit about pro wrestling in their whole lives. Like old ladies that don't give a fuck about pro wrestling know who the fuck the Bella Twins are.
Let's put it this way: who has TMZ talked more about in the past 5 years? Nikki Bella or Zoe Stark?
Easily Nikki. Nikki just destroys her in that aspect. So yeah, kind of unfair, but that's how it is, guys. Honestly, because I'm so sick and tired of the very shitty comparisons online. I'm so sick and tired of these quote-unquote women that these fans lust over and put over all of these draws. We had to prove it to you. And you saw with those side-by-side comparisons, a lot of people forget how hot women were back in the day. How hot they were in Ruthless Aggression and Attitude Era. They forget. They forget that we had some true beauties, that Vince McMahon hired women that were meant to be transcending talents. Not just people who you saw on Raw. No, people who made it to magazines. People who made it to movies. People who made it to other projects. And that's something that not a lot of these women that we showed on the left-hand side, these modern female wrestlers, are able to do. They tried. Becky Lynch has tried for Hollywood. She tanked billions. She tanked WandaVision.
Yep.
She tanked Conor McGregor's fight career. You know?
Oh, God, yeah.
She's infallible when it comes to that. And I mean, it's just anytime they try to do anything outside the ring, it's a clear failure. Every one of Mercedes Moné's acting things that she did outside the ring sucked dick. Britt Baker on Cobra Kai, awful as a Russian. I did not buy it. Really bad fucking job. Let's see who else we got over here that was an actor on the side. I think that was it. Honestly, not many of these women have acting roles outside of wrestling because of just their lack of talent, lack of wrestling ability. They tried to make it, it's about the wrestling ability nowadays, and how come these women from back in the day were cleaner wrestlers? How come they didn't botch as much? How come they didn't injure their opponents doing this strong style fake bullshit, or even attempt to do the strong style fake bullshit? That's what really pisses me off, is it looks like a sloppy kid cosplay version of what you see over in New Japan, and these fans love it. They love people like Dakota Kai, who are embarrassments. She's a Twitch streamer. She's not a wrestler. Send her back to Twitch. She don't belong on the fucking big screen. She don't belong on Raw. She don't even belong in NXT. There's so many of these women that should have never got called up from NXT. And yet here they are being forced down our throats because they were Papa H favorites. Because they did their time in NXT in black and gold. And now they deserve that chance to shine. And you better believe if he signed people like Chris Statlander, she would be on Raw, on SmackDown, in your fucking face. People like Jamie Hayter, you don't know who she is, down your fucking throat. And that's how it would be for anybody from AEW, because he overrates all these talents just like the IWC, because he's a fucking mark just like the rest of them. This is what we have to deal with nowadays, man. It's sad. Doesn't matter if it's Tony, Triple H. You're left with very few options out there. So, JT Prime was saying, Julia, Steph V, and the rest of WC's be fine divas for me. Well, at the very least, JT, I could say that most of your stable, you do have good taste. Asuka's not a bad-looking woman. Kari's not a bad-looking woman. Julia's attractive. Steph V is attractive. And the rest of the white girls, they're good. So you don't have to worry about that. You do fine when it comes to taste of women. Oh, yeah. Would my WC be fine divas in Ruthless Aggression era? As long as they had the right mic speaker, as long as they had the right manager, I think they could get by. Because that's the main thing for Ruthless Aggression era, is you need somebody who's going to work on the mic, not just be sexy. And if these women are willing to be sexy and, not be snowflakes that want to be seen for the wrestling ability, they'll go far. It all depends on their personality. We can only envision what they would be like, but it all depends on what they're willing to do on TV.
Well, but they'd have to be, for that audience back then, for that, adult male audience, you'd have to sexualize them heavily. Like, they'd have to be like the sexy chick, faction. And I think, I think it would have gotten over. I really do. I really do think that it would have gotten over back then. But,
This is a question I knew I was going to get, and I knew I had to clarify, and it should have included Sable TWRP. The reason I didn't want to include Sable, Lisa, is it would be so unbelievably unfair no matter who we put her up against. No matter, like, we could do Tiffany Stratton, and I would feel like I disrespect Tiffany Stratton by doing that. I don't know. I felt like she was so head and above shoulders of everybody else that it was a super squash match. So, I don't know. Yeah. That's just how I felt on that. Trish and Mickey look younger than Zoe and Becky. Isn't that a trip? That's really a trip too, when these women that, and we were giving Trish some bullshit for a while, but she put on a little bit more weight, filled out, looks better. But yeah, they look a lot better, take care of themselves. Yeah, well, Zoe, Becky, Bailey, they hit a wall. They hit it in the 30s hard. Hit the wall. Lisa was saying Becky is a worse Lita and Seth is a worse Edge.
It's
Fair
true,
point.
Isn't it?
I always thought of Seth almost as like a really shitty jobber version of Shawn Michaels. Like a very indie version, like a cosplaying Shawn Michaels. I can see the Edge comparisons too. Truth was saying, comparing Candice Michelle to Candice LeRae is like comparing Barry Bonds to Omar Monte and Balor. Hey, you know what? Hey, you got to have a few blowouts here and there. So that was one I'm sure the fans would love. Andre was asking, why is Triple H obsessed with muscle mommies? It's weird. A lot of these wrestlers are, man. We covered this before. A lot of these wrestlers think that a hard woman is literally a good find. And that's what they were into back in the day. Is the women that hit the weights, they were the ones that, that they got traded around. They got around. They got some business, So,
hey,
what's up?
And see, did you miss one of Lisa Green's chats? Her super chats?
Was it this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting to it. So, it was right after Alejandro. So, Chelsea, Tori, both married bum jobbers. And you see the shit out of, people, out of the dating scene nowadays. Look at fucking, Tyler Bate and who he's dated. Will Ospreay and who he's dated. You see it with these guys, and you're just like, okay, it's obviously continued the trend. They want to be the bigger star. That's what it is. Sasha dating the clothing designer. Now having Tony on a leash, allegedly. They want to be the bigger star.
No, no. Lisa's talking about another one. It's can I pull it up?
1 second. Let me finish with Alejandro's. But yeah, it's so weird, Alejandro. It's very strange. But yeah, it's because of the wrestling culture back in the day. They were all into women that you would hit the weights with and then hit them later on. So, okay. So are you talking about
that one?
Okay.
Is that the one, Lisa?
All right. People ask, sorry about that. So people ask what draws women to watch wrestling. It's hot wrestlers, romance storylines, and attractive divas they can self-insert into not women's work rate. No, You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. You hit on every single point, Lisa. And they've forgotten about that. They've forgotten that really attractive women are not just going to get the wrestling fans. They're also going to get people outside that bubble to pay attention. And that's the thing, too, is guys can skip across the channels and think wrestling's fake, stupid shit. They see two hot women wrestling, they're going to stick around for a while. You give them a goofy segment that they can laugh to, they might stick around even longer. Give them a badass quick match, maybe they'll stick around even longer. It's all about luring them in and hooking them after that point. But yeah, the romance storylines, those are some of the ones that got through to the crowd the most. Anytime they had any sort of lover's triangle, marriage segment, that always got the people's attention, always got the people talking. So yeah, no doubt about that.
I mean, even modern day, you could just look at NXT. Their attendances are going up, their viewership is beginning to tick up. And what do they have? Per capita, they've got hotter chicks per capita, as a percentage of the roster than the main roster, than any main roster, than Raw, than SmackDown, than Dynamite, than Collision, than TNA. It's their women are more hotter on average than any other wrestling brand. And their viewership is going up, and their attendances are going up. I wonder if there's something to be, learned there. I wonder if there's a lesson there.
Well, and that's what I've learned from NXT. When they really started to focus on beautiful women, you start to see the ratings rise a little bit, Granted, Triple H is still getting his smart shit in there, but yeah, when you start to know that the ratings are starting to rise with these pretty women. And Booker was saying it. Somebody said it for Modern Wrestlers or Marks. He was saying that NXT has the hottest women wrestlers. He ain't lying. He's absolutely right. NXT has the most beautiful women's wrestlers right now, and that's just fact. Nobody else could, don't get me wrong, AEW's got some hot women, nothing close to what NXT has. Nothing close.
No, and honestly, if they took Anna Jay and Penelope Ford and Toni Storm, what does AEW have? You got Mariah May. All right.
They got Mina Shirakawa.
Yeah, true. Yeah, okay. So, and if they took Mina Shirakawa, what do they got? They got Mariah May.
Did you already say Toni Storm?
Yeah.
Okay, so Toni Storm. Shit.
I know.
If you like Hikaru Shida, I don't know if she's still there, but that's one. Jamie Hayter's not bad looking, but she's so green.
Yeah.
Well, Alejandro was wondering, biggest difference between Rhea Ripley and China. I would say immediately for me, since I lived through it, my brother lived through it, star power. China was a household name, big fucking huge name, all over your TV, all over merchandise, all over magazine covers, known everywhere, known outside of wrestling. People knew who the fuck China was. Big time star. Rhea Ripley, very insular in the bubble. If people saw her, they'd be like, damn, Manson's been hitting the juice. They wouldn't think, damn, that chick is hot. Most of the, like, in fact, I want to say it was Lisa who showed a tweet once of the MMA community. They saw a picture of some dude cosplaying as Rhea Ripley, or Rhea Ripley, and they're like, who is this dude?
Right.
Like, people outside of wrestling think that Rhea Ripley is trans. They don't think that this is an actual woman. That's a sad thing.
Wow. I mean, yeah. I mean, and like, because that's what they look like. Now, granted, China was getting a lot of that too. You know, China's got a dick and all that, but the gimmick was that China was this imposing force, and she just so happened to be a woman also. So like, it worked better in that role. And yeah, like you said, is that, you know, China was way more talked about, mattered way more to wrestling than Rhea Ripley does.
Yeah, absolutely. Bad Sport was saying there's a reason Trish is the golden standard to this day. Everyone tries or ignores to replicate her but fail miserably. Trish is the full package. And that's the crazy thing too. Is to this day, Trish could return to the ring, be world champion, and I wouldn't bat an eye. If anything, I would be like, all right, Triple H, I don't know if you gave it a TKO, but props for you bending over and letting this take place. Because Trish being a world champion right now would actually probably get a couple more eyeballs on the product. Especially if she held a long reign, you might get another 100,000 back. I'm not saying a huge bump or anything, but having a noticeable name as a champion who you can plug and play into segments and they make it work, you can't replace that.
You know,
I don't understand why Triple H isn't reaching out to her and being like, and especially her and Lita, and being like, hey, Team Bestie, come back and do some shit.
You know who I'm kind of surprised who hasn't reached out to them? Tony Khan. He likes getting WWE stars. Like, he wants to stick it to WWE. Okay, get Trish Stratus or Lita, or both.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing, though, is I think they might be under Legends contracts, so I don't know about that. I don't know about. And yeah, Junior, she's 50, but she's still. I would take that 50-year-old woman over every jobber we have nowadays. I would take over Rhea Ripley. Easily. Easily. I would, yeah, I mean, just, like, how are you going to look at age when it comes to that, you know?
Right. Well, and so, like, just, you know, people are going to say, oh, well, you know, China didn't have a main event WrestleMania like Rhea Ripley did. Okay, but China meant
WrestleMania WrestleMania doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Right. So what I would say to that is, who was more mainstream relevant, China or Rhea? It's crystal fucking clear what that answer is, and that answer is China.
Easily. So Lisa was saying, I miss when Divas had romance storylines with wrestlers. Yeah. Well, because what it is, when you would see that on TV, especially if you knew what happened behind the scenes, is you knew that these wrestlers were hooking up all the time back in the day. Like, the locker room was a big orgy. Everybody was banging everybody. You always heard stories, and a lot of them were true, you know? And so when you saw romance storylines on the screen, you're like, okay, I could believe this happened. You know, because I believe Kurt Angle went and banged this guy's wife, or this guy banged his wife. Like, especially when they were doing that shit in TNA with Jeff Jarrett. I was like, I was like, all right, this is realistic. You know, I can believe this.
I mean, oh no, good.
No, it's just, it bought into reality, especially with Edge, Matt Hardy, and Lita, with all being on the same page for that storyline and it happening in real life. That's what gave it some bite. That's what made people want to tune in. Is there was some fire behind this. It wasn't just a bunch of prefabricated bullshit. There was some legit fire, and Matt Hardy was forced to play the cuck here. Even with Miro and Lana and Bobby Lashley, you know, it's like.
I mean, like, you look at, like, a lot of these women wrestlers nowadays would, if they were given if Triple H was like, okay, I'm gonna have you in a romance angle, they'd say that doesn't pass the Bechdel test. Which is the whole thing where it's like, you know, a woman has to be in a storyline that doesn't involve a man really in any way, especially not in a romantic kind of thing. So, like, they would be, I think women wrestlers nowadays, the vast majority of them would be offended by that. Say, how dare you? That is not utilizing my wrestling skill to its best. And I would say, fuck you, you overhyped jobber.
Well, here's what would happen is first the internet would get fake outraged, and then seeing that the internet got fake outraged, the dumbass marks on the roster would start to get fake outrage, even though they were probably liking the fact that they got a pop from that segment. They'd be like, I didn't appreciate how I was using this segment. I didn't know it would turn out like this on TV. I don't condone what WWE Creative and not Triple H, WWE Creative did to me for this segment. You know, you would see shit like that. They would never put the blame where it belongs. You know, even if Triple H did attempt something like that. So Ninja was saying the 2000s were the golden age of women's wrestling.
Yep.
I'd say 90s heading into 2000s. I think you can't forget the 90s in that aspect, but 2000s definitely had some top level women, no question about it.
For sure.
Alejandro was wanting bigger ego, Monet, CM Punk, or Noseman. I'm going to go for Noseman. I think that Noseman has eclipsed all of them because for Noseman, he already has all the power. He already has all the connections, but it's not enough. He's so greedy. At least with Monet, she's like, you know what? I don't care necessarily that I'm the focal point of the women's roster or even AEW. As long as you pay me millions and give me my segments, I'm happy. With Punk, he's just like, just give me my fucking WrestleMania match and millions and I'm happy. With Noseman, he's like, I want the whole fucking world to love my stupid smart shit, even though it's killing the ratings. With him, it's unbelievable ego and just, in my opinion, pure insecurity because he knows how shitty of a booker he is deep down.
God, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. And so, like, I just, like, CM Punk and Mercedes Moné aren't demanding or wanting to have an era named after them. Noseman did. Like, and have it announced at WrestleMania. We're in the Paul Levesque era. Paul Levesque had to have his name on the credits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they never call him out for. The fact that this guy opens up Saturday Night Main Event, opens up Raw, opens up every fucking PLE, and nobody says, oh, why is this fucking big-nosed glory hog out here and not one of his roster members? Well, he's here to say it's the Triple H era, it's a new era, it's Gaslight era, it's a boom. It's always some stupid new shit with him. And it's just always him stroking his ego over his mediocre, lazy booking. So yeah, Noseman by a mile.
Yeah.
Dark Woolsey was saying, Nikki or Zoe translation, which one would you rather have assault you for a week? Nikki, easily. Easily, Nikki. At least with Nikki's, it's a woman. With Zoe, you don't know. You don't know if you're going to get a little winky down there. You just don't know. Junior was saying, don't Britt Baker, Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, and Sky Blue, and Maxine belong in the Divas era. They not work rate women. Well, that's why I left out a few women here and there. I left out Tiffany Stratton, Sky Blue. I wanted to include in Britt Baker, Chelsea Green, and Maxine because they're kind of that snowflake SJW overrated diva that everybody says is great. So I kind of just wanted to, just check people on those ones, especially Britt Baker. She's gone downhill so much. Chelsea Green has become full-on snowflake. Maxine's just always going to be irrelevant no matter what. So it's like, I didn't feel like I was really shooting any horses out in the field with that one. So Alejandro said they had Mandy Rose and they fired her for BS. Mandy Rose, if she was still around today, would be one of the top women wrestlers on the main roster without question. It would be like her and Tiffany Stratton and Liv Morgan. And they would be, not just because they're blondes, because of their talent.
No. Like, I literally went back the other day, just out of curiosity. Like, I remember, do you remember the Mandy Rose match, the Triple Threat Worlds Collide match, where she became the double champ? Remember that? She had the American flag outfit on.
Was it her versus Michael Sakamura and
Blair Davenport?
Blair Davenport, right? Okay, yeah. That was actually a decent match.
Like, I'm watching that match and just the entrance, her look, just the charisma, just everything. Just that's a superstar. And honestly, I would like if we're comparing Mandy Rose to the Diva era divas, Mandy's better. She is, in my opinion, or at least up there. I mean, you got to. I mean, if we're being fair here, Mandy Rose is at least in the argument of the divas.
Oh, she's not an active competitor, which is why I couldn't put her on this. And that's the thing is she would be well at home with the divas. There's some talents nowadays that would be well at home with the divas. I think Liv Morgan would be one, Tiffany Stratton, maybe Lola Vice, Nikita Lyons. NXT has a lot of, I think, ruthless aggression era type talent in there. Just a matter of being called up and used. War Metal was saying Luna Vachon is more entertaining than Rhea Ripley. Easily. Just because her promos stuck in your head. That raspy voice, that personality, the faces she made at the camera. Yeah, conventionally, a lot of guys would think that Rhea Ripley is more attractive, but when it comes to who you remember at the end of the day, you're going to remember Luna Vachon. She was a great manager, great female wrestler. I don't think Rhea could cut it as a manager. She tried with Dom. It sucked.
No way.
She barely passes as a female wrestler. She's just there for all the muscle mommy fetish kings. All those kinks out there. As long as they get their shit, they're happy. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and the whole thing about Mandy that I was saying is that when she got out of that limo or out of that car and they're like focusing on her, she looked like a star. Like that's a superstar right there. And how many women's wrestlers today like lack that superstar entrance or look? A lot of them.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you just don't see it. Dark Bosley was saying, when I look at all the muscle mommies, I wonder if they swapped the steroids and testosterone from the men and replaced it with soy and estrogen. That's why we got smaller fat guys and big and roided women. It really is strange how it almost feels like there's no piss test for women and it's only for dudes. And it's led to just the women just getting just juiced to the fucking gills like it's Pride in the late 90s. And all the dudes are just becoming just soy weaklings. I wouldn't be surprised if you go backstage and it's nothing but a vegan bar and Soylent drinks, It's nothing that you're going to get jacked off of, that's for sure. So, yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact, too, as you gear more towards an indie type roster, you bring in more liberals because liberals love the indies. So you're going to bring in more liberals. Those liberals, they don't like to eat animals. They think that's bad. So you get a lot of vegetarians, a lot of vegans, a lot of people who, are missing out on a lot of vitamins that they need to become a big, strong wrestler. So,
Well, I think it's also who like, when you put the focus more on, like, the Dakota Kais and the Zoe Starks, and you put the attention away from, like, the Kelly Kellys and the Tori Wilsons, I think you drive away a lot of the viewers that would find the product appealing. They see these women, they see the modern male wrestlers like, fuck this shit, and they leave. And so we're pretty much left with this obnoxious, liberal, cuck audience that we have now, for the most part.
And that's what happens when you bring in all these indie fans. You bring in the people that have ass backward thinking, and it sucks that this minority is now the majority. It shouldn't be like that, but that's where we're at. DC Viper was saying, I miss when women would take bumps from the dudes. Trish and Tori taking tombstones from Kane are still talked about. That's another thing, DC, that we didn't dawn on, and I'm very glad that you brought that up, is women back in the days, they had ovaries, damn it. They would go out there, they would take bumps, they would take risks. They had no problem. They had no problem doing shit like Beulah getting the 3D, Kevin Owens always powerbombing ring girls. Women used to take bumps back all the time back in the day. Not just from women, but from other dudes through tables, get hit with chairs. And it's sad nowadays that would be something that they would hate against. Now, granted, you could have a woman beat the fuck out of a dude all day long, and they would love that. But the minute that the guy fights back, that's when you have a problem. That's when intergender wrestling goes too far. So,
I mean, the funny thing is that, like, Lita is more of a badass than Sami Zayn ever will be. How fucking sad is that? As heavily pushed as Sami Zayn has been, Lita would come across as more of a badass than Sami Zayn.
Well, Lita, she was trained down in Mexico. I mean, Sammy's a wannabe luchador, El Generico. No, Lita was a legit luchador trained down in Mexico, fought dudes before she ever fought other chicks, brought over to WWE originally as a manager, and quickly showed, you know what? Nah, she's much bigger than a manager, and became one of the biggest stars in the company. Dark Paragon said, Jordan Grace pole dance or Mickey James roast beef?
Mickey James roast beef. Oh my god. Mickey James roast beef.
Dude, put that on a sesame bun. Get some Arby's sauce on there. You're ready to go.
That's right. That's right. Jordan Grace. Oh god.
Oh god. Oh. Lisa was saying Trish and Lita were equally good as heels and faces. Then that to me has always been a staple with a good female wrestler, is they can play both roles right. She's not currently competing, but I think Alexa Bliss did a great job of being a face and a heel. And you just don't see too many wrestlers nowadays that can play one or the other good. They can't even play good heel, can't even play good face. So a lot of times they just do this Rhea Ripley, I'm gray shit. I'm neither heel nor face. That's what they do when they're not good at either thing. So yeah, it's unfortunately we don't have a lot of wrestlers that have that duality nowadays. Z Wrestling was wondering who would replace Triple H as head of creative if he gets canned. My vote My vote would be for a tag team of Brian Gewirtz and Shawn Michaels. I think they would be the most effective combo for what's going on. I think Shawn is a decent booker when he's not pissed on by Triple H and has to go through the Triple H filter. I think him and a Brian Gewirtz filter would work a lot better, and I think that's the direction they would go. You could honestly just shove CM Punk down in NXT. He'll be happy over there. He'll be happy booking. He'll love it.
Yeah. Man, you get to have all the talents he wants and enjoy that scene. But honestly, like, what do you think about like Raven and Brian Gewirtz on creative?
Well, that's the thing though, is like all these bookers who people keep on talking about, whether it be like let's say a Scott Levy or what is it? A Dutch Mantel, Jeff Jarrett. I think a lot of these, even though they have the booking talent and booking ability, and they have proven that they got the booking done before, you said it best, man. We need to move on to younger people. We need to find the next young Vince Russo, the next young Ed Ferrara. We need to move on to new people. So it's like I just don't put too much faith in creative in these old heads, because I've seen some of the dream booking, and I'm like, ugh.
Well, so, and you have like, again, I'm not going to take a shot at this guy. This isn't meant to be taking a shot. It's more to like provide commentary on it. You got people like EC3 who's like, oh, there are people on YouTube who like think there are better bookers than the wrestlers. Yeah, motherfucker, because there are, absolutely there are.
Oh, forever a Mark competing for 5 people in front of a bar. Nice, King. Oh, what a geek. Warbattle was saying Joel Gertner would make Marks cry. Yes. What are those fucking Celtic runes on his arms? What is that shit? What is that goofy shit on that roided up Ernie looking motherfucker? What is that? What is that?
I don't know.
Or Bert, whichever one it is. But anyways, Warbattle said Joel Gertner would make Marks cry. Yes, he would. Joel Gertner was a very underappreciated mic worker back in the day. Put him in the ring, he always kicked ass. He was great.
Absolutely. He was awesome, just as a character. He was just funny and cool, and yeah.
He was one of those guys Paul Heyman would go, hey, go out and kill 10 minutes! And he'd be like, no problem. And he would have the whole crowd rolling. It was awesome.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Darth Bullseye said WWE in a nutshell will be Johnny, Dominic, and Sammy getting pregnant, and Ken is free and Charlotte plowing them. Netflix made me do it. I wish my wife did this.
Like,
You can already see it.
Department, get the Prego bellies ready. All right, Sammy, go ahead and sit in the chair. They're gonna put your belly on. All right, you're the pregnant man. You look good.
Oh my god, we're giving him ideas. He's gonna do it. He's on Netflix now. They love pregnant men. They love weird SGW cuck shit. They're gonna do it.
You already know there's gonna be a segment where the door gets kicked down and you see sitting on the couch, it's Dominic Mysterio with his Prego belly, and he's like, mommy, you're going to disrupt the baby? I don't care. Where's my beer, motherfucker? You can already see with it.
They'll be doing segments where Dominic is like pregnant, barefoot in the kitchen making food.
He's like, get me sandwich now, or he'll get me knuckle sandwich.
Okay, mommy.
Where's me chicken nuggets? They're on the way, mommy. I'm making them now. None for you. It just takes the whole tray. It's right there, man. It's right there.
That would be. Oh man, just I don't want to. We're giving them ideas. They're probably gonna fucking take it because it's Netflix. They did Cuties, so it's up their alley.
Bad Sports says, I don't know about Lita, but Trish's a WWE girl through and through. She turned out TNA back in the day. Offered her to win the first ever knockout title. She's a WWE Golden Girl, and that's why I think they should treat her with such respect. When you have somebody who has been with the company that long and done that much for the company, you treat them well. You give them the shot. You don't let them fade away like Triple H has. He really just used and abused her, and I think that sucks.
Yeah, because the focus is on my black and gold darlings, and they got their way. I mean, he got what he wanted. He promoted his black and gold indie darlings that have no charisma. They look like shit. They botch like fucking crazy. Which is kind of funny because they're praised for their wrestling ability, yet they botch constantly.
Yeah,
how does that work? Why do they get praise?
Because these fans jack off to them, and it's as simple as that. That they're willing to overlook their injury-prone nature. Like Dakota Kai has already been injured like 4 or 5 times. They're willing to ignore all that shit, how botchy she is, all that because she cries on Twitch streams and they get off to it. I don't know what fucking weird perversion they have, like, but that's what they got. That's what they like. Lisa said Cena used to beat up Lita for pops. LOL.
Yeah, he did.
Good old days. Good old days.
Good old days where Cena beat up women. I mean, but at least it proved she was tough, and proved that she could, she get in there and take it. Like a lot of these women now, they're fragile. Like you put Zoe Stark in there, Zoe Stark wouldn't last. She'd probably have a mental she'd probably have a mental breakdown. Like most of the women we've talked about so far that are being heavily pushed by Triple H would have a mental breakdown in the Ruthless Aggression era, even in the Divas era.
I look at it this way. The fact that she blocked me when I never even mentioned her on Twitter at all, literally over a YouTube video, tells me that these women are hardcore vanity-seeking freaks, and they will go through whatever extent it takes to see what good people are saying about them, what bad people are saying about them. So yeah, it's like Zoe's one of those people. Jordan's one of those people. That's how they are. That's how a lot of these women wrestlers are nowadays. Darth said, I warn you, if you're still subscribed to Netflix, do not watch Twilight of the Gods. I repeat, do not watch Twilight of the Gods. All right, I will keep that in mind, Darth. I'm just finishing up Primeval right now. But yeah, I will definitely not watch Twilight of the Gods. Most of the shit, about good 80 to 90% of the shit being put out on Netflix is awful. It's absolutely awful. I only watch it because I have a free subscription, so I'm like, fuck it. If I have a couple shows I can check out, I will. But other than that, not much use for Netflix nowadays. So, guys, thank you for joining us for this special here on WFBI. Join us over on the main channel for some news. NC.
JC and.
Peace out.